Well, good morning and welcome back to the shop. It is October. It's cold out and it's 5:30 something in the morning. It's been a little while since my last video and I think we need to do a little update. Where did we leave off? I think we're just getting back on the Mustang, right? I've spent some time mocking up more stuff made out of cardboard because it works pretty good for getting an idea of what something's actually going to look like. I mean, if you like that sort of thing, let's take a look. Okay, so why am I using cardboard? I think is the question that was asked so nicely. 2, 3. Oh, I have 2 3s. Oh, we got a left 3 and a right 3, I guess. Who numbered these? The reason that I'm using cardboard is I don't have a 3D scanner. So I can't just throw this in CAD. I do have a really questionable CAD model I found on the internet. I do have a real questionable CAD model that I found on the internet that is supposedly a 65 coupe. It looks not terrible, and I've used it a little bit, but it's just not quite clean enough to really say, oh yeah, let's make this 56 inches long. Let's make this 4 inches tall. You know, it doesn't have the high resolution that I want in a 3D scan. Cardboard, and in this case, melamine board, would be a really easy way to try out ideas and see if you like them or not. So it's kind of, it's almost a road race style spoiler. It's kind of reminiscent of the ducktail spoilers that they did put on these cars from the factory. Maybe I'll put a picture up. But I wanted something that looked a little more fabricated. Really, I wanted, let's see if I can put this in the right spot here. I really wanted to be able to adjust the angle on this spoiler so I could lay it down flat like a drag spoiler. And I think I had a picture of that somewhere, but basically it was just a big flat platform off the back. When the air comes over the trunk, it hits that, and you get a little bit of downforce from it because you're extending the surface area of your trunk. But most drag spoilers are intended to help keep the car going straight down the track and allow the air to detach from the flow farther away from the car, which reduces drag. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to make the adjustable spoiler work the way I wanted to, so we're just going to go with a fixed spoiler. This is a 30-degree angle, and I think I'm going to lay it back another 5. We're going to go back, we're going to come down to 25 degrees, and that's going to be from level, not from the surface of the deck lid, because this is definitely sloped down. And then here, when I cut this out of aluminum, I want to take this front edge and extend it up. So we kind of have a flange that runs all the way down the length, and we'll attach with rivets here probably. I do like this look where it just fits neatly, but I also like the idea of having a little radius here, half for airflow and half to just clean up the look a little bit. So we'll see how that goes once I find aluminum, because the local suppliers around me, the people I've contacted so far don't carry 5052 aluminum, which is what I want to use for the spoiler. It's formable, it's weldable if you need to, and it's fairly rigid. I think the 5052 will be adequate, especially with all those supports. And yeah, I see Mrs. Squirrel has been out here. Yeah. Yeah, she's been out here a couple times recently. Like I said, I want to rivet on that front edge And I'll rivet these on. They'll have a little flange at the bottom. Or I'll take this whole design, I'll change it up, and I'll put riv nuts in the trunk, and we'll riv nut on these supports, and that's all that will hold it in place. And the front will have a nice clean edge. We'll leave it like this. So there's my two main options. I couldn't put a support right in the middle. So what we're going to do here is have two offset. I might have to go a little more. I don't think I'm going to put a key lock in this trunk. I'll probably put a push button, well, just to pop the trunk open. So that's where we're at with the spoiler. As soon as we get some material, I'm going to dive into this because I have time to sit and think and do cardboard cuts like this. It's a lot harder to have time available to fabricate parts because I have two little ones running around in the shop more than half the time I'm out here. So, oh, and this little pocket here, we're going to do something with that. Yeah, we're not just going to leave that open. Yeah, you'll have to tune in the future to see what goes there. Let's go to the front, see what's going on with springs. I'm going to fit a third brake light in there. Oh, did I show you that I got wheels? Did I make video of that? I don't think I made video of that. I got pictures. I had a wheel on here to see how, whoa. I had a wheel on here to see how it would fill up the wheel well. And it looks really good. I didn't buy tires yet because everything is freaking expensive. But I got wheels. I checked my back spacing. I checked my clearance to the control arms. And I even checked to see how much room we have for a spring poking up out of that upper control arm. So we are good to go there. So in the back, we have some indecision with design. In the front, we have more of a dilemma. If you've forgotten or you haven't seen this yet, this is the Mustang 2 style front suspension. Mustang 2 suspension uses a big fat spring and a short shock, and it's just not a lot of room. And you put these little mount tabs here. Where's my cardboard? More cardboard. Cardboard everywhere. Oh, here we go. So these guys are supposed to fit in here. Wait. Of course, I drew it backwards on my cereal boxes so you can't see the holes properly, but it fits in here. And, hold the top. Now, why is that a problem? You have to take a big notch out of the frame of a lot of these cars that you put a Mustang 2 in. It's acceptable in a lot of cases. I don't want a big notch. I'm okay with a small notch. And I don't like the short stroke of the Mustang 2 shock and how low it's mounted. It's just a little bit undesirable. All right, we got to wrap this up because I got to head to work. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a spring with a little higher ride height. Now, ride height doesn't mean this ride height from the bottom of the car or the road. It's the design height for the shock itself. So the mount will be up higher. The spring diameter is smaller, which smaller spring, longer, generally better. The old, short, fat springs, it's just kind of old, a little older design, eats up more room. Now, as I sneak this guy in here, you'll see this is the general shape of the bracket I'm going to use. I originally was going to have two holes in the top of each one, so then I can put another bracket bolted onto it that'll have the eye for the top of the shock, because I wasn't quite sure which brand I was going to use, and I wasn't quite sure where this was going to sit. How is it going to be vertical? Probably not. It's going to have to be leaned back a little bit. So this is more of the shape that I'm going for, and I just needed to verify my location of this upper shock mount in relation to the side of the frame rail, and then I can have these cut out. Now maybe someone can look at this and see, oh yeah, I can see why this is more desirable than this. In general, this is going to have way more strength, and we're going to tie in this center cross member to the shock mount, because I didn't like how these would be supporting all the load from the side of the frame rail when all the strength is built on the inside of the frame rail. I'll show you here. So that plate will land there and weld in. And it will basically, we'll have the whole frame rail now wrapped with kind of heavy steel, but it'll all be tied together. Hey, it's me from the future. I don't remember exactly what I said about these and this shape, but I do remember saying that if I got my plates cut, I would show you they got cut. So I am pretty optimistic that these will fit as intended. This will lay right up against the cross member. We got a curve that we're going to have to cut the frame to make clearance for. You might notice that this one wraps around this flange. I only did that because it's easier to mock up with cardboard. And I wasn't convinced that that was going to be the final shape. So cutting into the flange and the frame was not a good option. So the inside will have a radius, just like that. And that will help carry the strength from the inside here all the way through up here. And hopefully we won't get a crack or a stress concentrator in this piece here. And then this, like this little notch here, will rest on top of the frame rail. This will weld to the upper control arm mount, and then this much will protrude above that. We will probably plate between the two. So as these two are welded on the frame, we'll probably put a little plate here, because I'm going to tie this into the roll cage and the it's not really a strut bar. It's kind of a strut bar from one side of the engine bay to the other. So this will be super rigid. It will wrap around the frame. It will contain the frame. It's going to be skookum as frig. I think I said somewhere in there that I tend to overbuild things. It's because I frequently distrust myself with my designs. This is the same material as the rest of these components are made out of. And it's probably fine if I just take these two and put them vertical and put the spring between them and it's bolted up and it's fine. But we're going to add more. We're going to link it together. We're going to make it rock solid. I don't want anything to be loosey-goosey. Now, the thing is, I can't get anybody to send me the dimensions of the spring. They say it's a 9-inch tall spring. It's 2.5-inch ID, but nobody's listing what the OD is. So I've emailed a couple of places, including the manufacturer, and I haven't gotten anything back yet. It's been a few days, so that's a little frustrating. The spring diameter. Come down here. I remember saying that I was having a hard time getting the diameter of the spring from the manufacturer. Well, I got an email back, and I did a little back and forth. I drew this circle as a guess based on the image on the website, 3 3/4 inch being the largest diameter of the spring. And guess what? They said 3.55 is the outside diameter of the heaviest spring rate they have for this kit. So it's going to be close, because if I measure that cross member down there, it's 3.75 inches wide. So I knew this was going to rub. You're never going to get that to fit perfect, but I figured this is my absolute maximum. Is it going to work? And we're going to be really close. By the time we get these plates in here, we will have an 1/8 inch on each side. So what I'm really hoping is once this is in and notched, that the top hat of the spring will be low enough and just inside, so we're clearing just enough. And we're not actually in, like that close. If you can see that. Hoping that we're out here a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of spring angle on it. That's not the spring angle, strut angle, motion ratio, something or other. Anyway, it's going to be close fit. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to say about this? Oh, did I mention that if this is a total failure, I can cut this off here, and it'll be even with the top of the upper control arm mount. And then I can bolt some different plates to this. So if this portion is a failure in the design, I can change it just by lopping the top off and making add-on plates. Easy peasy. A little contingency for the future. Those holes are not going to affect the strength of this part right now because of how it's going to be linked in, so no worries. Now, I remember I did say something about this front end is kind of a dilemma. While we've kind of solved the uprights, we've kind of solved the spring diameter issue. The real problem is I don't want to order springs and struts it's coilovers, springs and shocks, because I don't know what the weight of the front end is going to be. I don't want to buy springs again. I can't buy springs right now, even if I knew what the rate was. So I was kind of boxing myself in the corner a little bit, but I think this is a solid way forward. We'll finish up all the welding, grinding, dress up, maybe even notch for tire, and we will get this to a point where we can paint it and move on, because I really, really want to get the engine in, get some motor mounts made, which means I need to, at the very least, buy a bell housing for that engine, because I did receive a 3D scan of a transmission, so I can make a mock-up transmission out of some sheet metal, and we can kind of rest that engine in place and see where it's going to line up. We can get motor mounts made, we can make decisions on whether they're going to cut the tunnel or not, all that jazz. So, I probably talked way too much. I probably talked over a whole bunch of stuff that I had already recorded. It's party. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.